1. Joe and Ann went where no sane player dared to click. 2. S. daily routine included pestering one very patient angel NPC. On loop. 3. Blick clinging, awkward squatting, and max-level cringe. He put on quite the performance. 4. CH show ended faster than a TikTok ad skip. 5. RNS out. Judgment Day came in 2.5 seconds flat. 6. E Divine Zap. One flash and he was pixel dust. 7. Uri Zap came with a level wipe, but the guy kept going. Something about a hidden quest, a god-tier class, and chasing digital royalty. 8. 86 lightning bolts and a couple birthdays later, the title screen finally flashed. Black Card Emperor unlocked. 9. RKS? Oh yeah. He could mash any two cards into a black card mutant, like Card Fusion but with cheat codes. 10. In a world where cards were everything, muscle and skill took a back seat to shiny cardboard. 11. Ower came in colors. The brighter, the better. 12. ROM tissue tier white to God mode orange. The pecking order was clear. 13. Hits were barely worth the click. Oranges, pure flex. 14. Woe wildcard colors. Red and black didn't play by the usual rules. 15. He's ones. Total mystery boxes. Could be epic fail. 16. Oling one was like ordering mystery sushi. Might be Wagyu, might be wasabi nightmare. 17. P grades came down to two things: beefing up or blending in. 18. Ella Fusion. Say goodbye to cards, mats, and your will to live. 19. Hu and Ann. The guy was fusion royalty. No fails, no recipes, just vibes. 20. F course. While everyone else was flexing level 20 gear, he was still rocking level 0 drip like a born-again newbie. At least the Ash look was consistent. 21. T was comeback o'clock. 22. Tep 1. Hit up the goddess statue for his official noob starter pack. 23. He Vortex did its thing, and outfloated his debut dud. Snowfield Bear 1 star, pure snowflake tier. 24. E wasn't here to cuddle bears. He needed black cards fast. 25. Ero hesitation. Trial accepted. Gloves off. 26. Agic circle activated. Dramatic flair included. 27. Link and boom. Welcome to Noob Island. 28. Erst foe on the menu. 29. Very confused chicken. 30. Knee blink later. Snowfield Bear got the call to action. 31. Knee paw swing later. Fried chicken. 32. Either's flew, sparkles popped, and boom, new card drop. Nightcat Daska rocking 3 white stars of mild mediocrity. 33. Oh chill, straight to fusion mode. 34. Ards danced, glowed, and summoned an ancient rune circle like they were auditioning for a fantasy rave. 35. Ustum went ding, fusion success. Behold 2-star black card, Panda. 36. Anda. Not just a snack mascot, this one was built like a raid boss. 37. Anki, healing on the go and splashy with the punches. Basically a walking cheat code. 38. His eyes lit up like a loot goblin's dream. Random fusion just paid off like a streamer's lucky pull. 39. E struck a pose so extra it could summon rain. Somewhere, peasants probably trembled. 40. Just as the flex peaked, reality hit. Level 0 meant the quest board looked like an empty fridge. Guess royalty still needs XP. 41. After scrolling through the quest buffet, he picked Defend Cassinar. 9 waves of fish freaks in 100 minutes. Time to tower defense this dungeon. 42. In Al course, deep-fried Murloc boss. 43. E jumped into a rando party like it was no big deal. 44. Effer he could even emoji wave. Valkyrie Lin Yun hit him with a noob detected, and booted him faster than lag in a storm. 45. Bothered, he spun the party wheel again. This time, a headcount filler crew held together by duct tape and prayer. 46. ND the vibe check. Instant red flag. 47. Catchy vibes, but whatever. Man needed entry, not excellence. 48. Elaport swirl and boom. They landed in Cassinar Village, a sleepy fishing town that was about to become a war zone. 3 roads. 9 waves, 1 boss per 3rd wave. Crowd favorites included Big Carp, Catfish Sika, and Endgame Menace. Shark Leon, a.k.a. Old Shark. 49. Anal Wave. Shark Leon. If he wasn't sushi by the end, it was GG and back to Q. 50. Row Strat Alert. Build defenses and turrets early and boom. Instant easy mode. 51. Adley. His squad had the game sense of potatoes. 52. Eastside hard enough to make a wind spell. Carry mode activated. 53. Anda got babysitting duty, while Joe Nan parkoured across the village for supplies. 54. E hit up the brick guy. 200 bricks equals full block on east and west roads. Funnel the fish. Genius. 55 Hen he found no one doing the logging quest. Perfect. Deliver 200 wood, get 2 sniper towers back online. 56 NCE fixed. The archer NPC could go beast mode from high ground. Bonus range, bonus damage. Literal tower defense. 57X stop. Coco Luo. Still no competition. Her quest equals healing potion equals literal life insurance. 58E handed it off to the village chief who unlocked a village-wide healing aura. Smart move if his squad didn't die of incompetence first. Merman portal activated. 15,603 enemies on the board. His team's kill count, all 0. 20 minutes in, system blared, third wave boss incoming. Player 1, 300 kills. Player 2, 298. Player 3, 2 Joe Nan, still 0. That's when Huang Mao flamed him. Slacker alert. 59 Arma. EXE launched. Boss spawned right in front of Joe Nan. 60 Hunan blinked. Seriously? RNG sus, why have you forsaken me? 61 Os music. Intensifies, first big fish just dropped. 62 Hunan. 30 bricks short of salvation. Timing couldn't be worse. 63 Oh time to think. Panda, get in there and tank like your bamboo depends on it. 64 Woestar black card Panda equals certified beast. One punch, instant Murloc puree. 65 Hen Panda did the unthinkable. Face grabbed the boss and gave it a ground massage. 66 Osbar, deleted. Panda's hands rated E for everyone. 67 Hunan exhaled hard. Thank you, summon system. If they looked his way, he'd be fish nuggets by now. 68 Alif, short-lived. Ding ding, his whole team just rage quit life. Seriously, aggro wasn't even on you. 69 Alright then, watch a real one solo this mess. Just gotta brick up the place first. 70 E grit his teeth and brick hauled like a Minecraft speedrunner. 71 Inal step. Toss M to NPC Kakar, the local wall wizard. 72 Insta wall. East and west officially blocked. Fish now funneled to south lane only. 73 Inwal Panda was seeing the light. HP bar bleeding. 74 Hunan yeeted himself to the alchemy NPC like his life depended on it. 75 Illage Chief chugged the potion like an energy drink. In Star Rainbow Aura unleashed. 76 Anda went from near death to full tank mode. Life bar equals green. Mood equals violent. 77 ND just in time. Final wave spawned. Here comes the seafood storm. 78 Anda said no words, no plan. Just full send into the mob. 79 After some glorious bamboo-fueled carnage. Nothing but silence remained. 80 Very single Murloc. Wiped. Joe Nan solo carried like a legend. 81 Enter the final boss. Shark Leon, radiating so much power he practically spawned with a dubstep drop. Panda didn't flinch, just roared and yeeted himself into a 1v1 with the Fish King. 82 Ith region ticking and Chief buffs TM active. Panda tanked like a raid boss cosplaying as a wall. 83 and minutes 2 near deaths and countless punches later, Shark Leon flopped. Panda clutched it. 84 Oot explosion. Deep Sea Trident unlocked, serrated, soaked in lore and looking like it bites back. 85 Hunan just smirked like he won the lottery. 86 Now that's RN Jessus finally answering my prayers. 87 Os, done. Now for the real endgame, loot box dopamine hits. 88 Laureus, shiny, treasure chests. 89 Earth's chest, jackpot 2 sweet skill points. He slammed them into appraisal LV, 2 like a speedrunner with hotkeys. 90 Enmana burned like incense to the card gods. Time to scan. 91 Rumroll. White card garbage, stats, none, skills, LMAO. 92 T was the card equivalent of a wet tissue. 93 Knee chest left. Joe Nan whispered like a gacha addict, please just be usable. 94 Op, another white card. But hey, at least it had situational value in the Defend Cassinar dungeon. 95 till mid-tier, but Joe Nan wasn't born to accept mediocrity. He was the black card Emperor TM. 96 Cruit. He mashed the 2 white cards together in a fusion gamble and bam, black card mutation. 97 Introducing. Hero bear codename Sorrow, depressed. Maybe, powerful, absolutely. 98 Oro wasn't just a sniper. He came with IKEA mode, automatically stacked bricks and built card towers in 3 minutes flat. Peak dungeon meta. 99 Hunan was trembling with hype. Let's ride. He hit solo dungeon like a man on a mission. No teammates, no fear, just Panda, Sorrow, and bricks. With Panda smashing and Sorrow brick spamming from range. Not a single mob even sniffed the village gates. Victory practically on autopilot. Joe Nan, bored out of his skull, time for side quests, wild zone grind time. Wild mobs equals loot boxes with legs. Elite bosses like granite, walking jackpots of rare mats. Sadly, Joe Nan's power level screamed noob. He could only farm diaper tier monsters. One baby Murloc down, XP gain, pathetic. Grind rate, slower than dial-up, so he bylaid. He came back to find Shark Leon already pancaked into the dirt. Panda wrapped it up with a Tai-Kai finisher, so smooth, it deserved background music. 4 treasure chests dropped. Moral of the story, RNG is a myth, just punch harder. Final chest, RNG still trolling. But hey, diamonds and a solo pass for building upgrades. Worth. Joe Nan crossed his fingers. Please be Black Bear, I need my Guardian fusion. Nope, RNG said jumping frog. Bruh. Jumping frog, useless. He sighed and hit the marketplace with dead eyes. Search results, all Black Bear cards priced like ancient relics. 99,999 gold. This ain't a museum. Scroll, internal screaming. At last, a legend. Some sane player posted 10 Black Bears for 666 gold. Bless that soul. Wallet check, 81 gold, 81 pain. He messaged the seller like a beggar at a feast. Can I buy just 2? Reply, no splits, full set only. Ruthless. Joe Nan stared at his one flex item, the deep-sea trident, and sighed. Style or survival? With a dramatic click, he listed the trident for 1,888 gold. Basically charity in this lawless economy. 1 second ping, trident gone, sniped by some high roller. Joe Nan didn't blink. He took his fat gold stack and immediately scooped up all 10 Black Bear cards. No hesitation. After some serious fusion magic, Joe Nan assembled his dream team of pro-level brick-slinging beasts. Feeling like a boss, he queued up for a dungeon, ready to flex his masonry squad. Then came the cold reality. His big all-level 2 tag was an instant red flag. Kicked again and again. Grumbling and mid-rage type. Something on the party board caught his eye. A squad posting huge gold for brickwork. Joe Nan speed joined and typed, pro bricklayer reporting in. But the team hesitated, looking for LV5+. Joe Nan glanced at the quest. Move 1,600 bricks. That's no ordinary task. 1,600 bricks. His gamer senses tingled. This ain't normal, it's a hidden quest. He casually dropped the bomb. You guys know this is a hidden mission, right? Cue stunned silence. He posted his full brick squad lineup. Black Bears, buffs, madness, the team instantly. You're hired. The trumpeter hit the summon horn and bam. Teleport to a burning village under siege. System prompt, 30 minutes until Murloc Artillery Corps launches full assault. Everyone scrambled, summoning cards like mad. Units hit the ground running. Joe Nan, double Black Bear summon. Instant construction mode, ON. 30 minutes later, Joe Nan had solo built the entire fortress wall. Solo. The squad stood there, mouths open. Wait, you built everything? Friend requests flew in like fireworks. Still had time on the clock. Joe Nan figured he'd peek at how the others were holding up. What he saw made his eyes go full anime-wide. Wait a sec, is that a freaking Gundam? Yep, the team leader just casually whipped out a mech the size of a building. Joe Nan figured, if this guy's packing Gundams, what about the rest? One was riding an armored dragon turtle, bulldozing mobs like a medieval tank. The last guy, no weapons, just fists, bare-handed monster slayer, punching mobs into XP paste. System alert. Murloc Artillery Corps preparing to launch. Joe Nan blinked. Hold up. Fish people have artillery now. Are they building cannons underwater? Before his brain could reboot, the sky went dark. Dozens of black streaks tore through the sky toward the town. Joe Nan squinted, tried to make them out. No chance, too fast. Just blurs with bloodlust. One of the shadows broke formation and dive-bombed straight for him. That's when he realized, oh great, they're Murlocs. Flying freaking Murlocs. Sorrow rocketed up, launched a crisp uppercut, and sent the fishman twirling into the stratosphere. One teammate stepped forward, noble voice on max. You should retreat to the forest. For your safety, of course. Joe Nan narrowed his eyes. They just don't want me ninja looting their shinies. Shrugging it off, Joe Nan slipped into the backwoods, casually built a watchtower, and started farming wild monsters like he was on vacation. But of course, just as he got into the zone, a flying Murloc came at him like a missile. He dodged without thinking, only to slam face first into an invisible barrier. He rebounded off like a cartoon character. Then a brilliant idea hit him like a ton of bricks. What if... What if I could finally figure out how to take down that granite golem? The next thing he knew, a flying axe smacked the golem right in the head with a resounding clang. The golem whirled around, eyes burning with rage. There stood Joe Nan and Sorrow on top of the watchtower, casually tossing axes like they were in some kind of Olympic axe-throwing competition. The golem let out a bone-rattling roar that made the nearby trees shake. It charged straight at the tower, laser-focused on Joe Nan. But then, bam, it hit an invisible wall, stunned and completely thrown off. Joe Nan grinned wide. Just as I expected, players are the only ones who can manipulate terrain. Monsters can't cross system-placed barriers like air walls. That meant the golem was stuck, and Sorrow could take it down from a safe distance without worry. But just as Joe Nan was ready to settle in for the grind, the golem roared again, then picked up a massive 10-ton boulder and hurled it straight at the tower. Joe Nan's eyes went wide. Wait, this thing has ranged attacks now. Just as the boulder came crashing down, Sorrow casually caught it with one hand, like it was a rubber ball. Then, like magic, the rock started to crumble in his palm, turning into floating gravel. Turns out the system counted Sorrow, standing atop the watchtower as a structure, not a unit. So the golem's thrown attacks couldn't hurt buildings. Since the granite golem couldn't heal, Jonan only needed to chip away at its massive health. The catch, with so much HP and his low DPS, it would take at least 40 minutes to take it down. Just then a system-wide message popped up. Successfully repelled the Murloc Artillery Corps for 120 minutes. Fortress defended. Dungeon cleared. Rewards have been sent to your secret base. Jonan leveled up. Level 3 achieved. Back at his secret base, he spotted 3 reward chests. His eyes gleamed with excitement. Oh yeah, this is going to be huge. He opened the level 2 material chest first. Inside, he found a luminous pearl and a pile of deep-sea gunpowder. Jackpot, he moved to the next chest, Blair's gift chest. This has to be a hidden mode exclusive. Wonder what's inside. He cracked it open. A burst of golden light flashed before his eyes. Inside was a Fortress Clearance Certificate X1 and a brand new summoning card, Murloc Cannon, Landing Type 1. Jonan stared at the card, completely confused. Why is the Murloc the cannonball? Who designed this? Still, the name sounded cool enough. He decided to fuse it with the Disciple of God card he'd gotten earlier. Ding, fusion successful. The system chimed and a 1-star black card, Cannon Follower Dingle, materialized. Its attack power was tied to the little Murloc projectiles, but its range and potential growth were solid. Definitely worth leveling up. Jonan rushed to the marketplace and bought 20 little Murlocs as ammo. Then he saw the seller's name. It was none other than his old friend. Cave King, I knew it. Jonan grinned. This guy must have a card crafting skill. Jackpot, in the game, every time a player reaches level 10, they can choose one of 3 random skills provided by the system. Skills fall into 3 categories: general, special, and class-specific. Card fusion is a rare general skill with an extremely low drop rate. Very few players ever get this skill. Jonan stared at his new Cannon Follower card. Jonan couldn't help but wonder, is there a pattern to how these fused cards are named? He threw in dozens of white cards and started experimenting. Soon enough, he cracked the code. For example, the card Little Rabbit Go Die was made from Little Snail Go Go and Nearsighted Rabbit Die Die. The fused black card name is created by randomly selecting a prefix and a suffix from the 2 ingredient cards. He also realized that fusing 2 1-star cards could only produce a 1-star black card at most, and sometimes the fused card was even weaker than either of the originals. Determined to test this theory further, he grabbed a few more cards to validate his findings. Before long, a new card appeared, Little Dog Daiachi. He threw the card onto the ground, and the fluffy Daiachi materialized before him. Jonan crouched down and gave it a good head pat. Storage space, treasure map compatibility, and auto-loot function. Now that's a keeper. With Daiachi by his side, Jonan set off on a proper treasure hunting adventure. He returned to the dungeon and launched a full assault on the weakened granite golem. Soon enough, the golem's HP bar hit 0. It collapsed with a loud thud. System notification, kill confirmed. Rewards, 100 points, 30 diamonds, and 1 granite golem kill certificate. Daiachi dashed forward at lightning speed. With a swift swipe of its paw, the loot was neatly stored in its internal inventory. Jonan retrieved the card from Daiachi's storage and nearly jumped with excitement. A green card? I'm soaring right now. At the same time, his appraisal skill leveled up to 2 thanks to continued use. He flipped the card over. 6-star green card. Rock General Dagon. 60,000 HP, 150 to 300 attack. A 6-star tank with built-in aura skills. This wasn't just a win. This was full throttle flight. But after the hype came the reality check. The card could only be used once he reached level 5. After a brief sigh, he formed a new plan. Level up cannon follower Dingley first. Pulling out the Murloc cards, he summoned a group of ammo fish to get started. He turned to Dingley and said, "Here, use these Murlocs to practice your shooting. Hero Bear will clear the other mobs. I'm heading back to town to turn in a quest." Then he pulled out the golem's other loot item, the Heart of Stone, and made his way back to the village. The item description said it could be handed to the village chief, so Jonan did just that. The chief took it and smiled warmly. "Young warrior, thank you for bringing me the Heart of Stone. Did you know it can enhance mud golem cards and even has a 5% chance to mutate them into a granite golem?" But once again, his level 3 tag made the teammates skeptical. Fortunately, he had an ace up his sleeve, the pro bricklaying squad. Once he showed off the cards, everyone's tone shifted. "Bro, why didn't you say so sooner?" "Get in." They quickly entered the dungeon. Valkyrie Lin Yun, the same one who had once kicked him out, was stunned by the sheer speed of his building crew. "Wait, what? That's insane." She immediately sent a friend request. While chatting, Jonan's kill count quietly ticked to 666. Realizing this, he swiftly recalled Sorrow to avoid any accidental overkill. Then he casually told Lin Yun, "Got something to handle. Gonna walk around the wild zone for a bit." Minutes later, a system prompt echoed through the air. Dungeon cleared, hidden achievement unlocked. Murloc 666. Reward special skill. Murloc Empowerment. With a bonus of EXP, Jonan also reached level 5. Smooth and satisfying. He immediately summoned a Murloc, eyes sparkling. "All right, let's see just how strong you become now." To Jonan's surprise, the Murloc he summoned instantly upgraded from 1-star to 5-star with a massive stat boost. Even better, every Murloc card could be individually enhanced. The thought of building a buffed Murloc battalion made him giddy with excitement. But as he rejoined the team, one female player immediately threw shade. "You barely killed anything. Leeching much?" Valkyrie Lin Yun quickly stepped in. He handled all the mission objectives. If anyone carried this run, it's him. Still, the other two weren't letting it slide. "Then let's take it to the 2v2 arena. Let's see who's really carrying who." Jonan saw through it immediately. They just want to farm arena points off me. But now that he was level 5 with a loaded card deck, he was ready. Bring it on. The arena system had 5 tiers: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Diamond, and King. In Bronze, only 2 maps were available: Dual Arena for direct PvP and the Temple of Four Corners, a hybrid mode with NPC factions. Winning earns you arena points, while losing subtracts them. Every player starts with 0 points. Points could be used to redeem exclusive cards or unlock achievement rewards. Soon they arrived at the Bronze Arena. One of the girls smirked. "Let's spice it up. How about we bet some gold?" Lin Yun frowned. "Isn't that kind of like cheating? Betting feels a bit much." The male player taunted. "Relax, it's just for fun. 100 gold per team. What? You don't even have 50. Lin Yun shot back. "Who are you calling broke? I'm putting down 200, Jo Yun inside. "All right, I'm in 200. But inside, he mused. "Acts tough, but this guy's calculating like crazy. The pot splits by win ratio. He clearly thinks he's got this in the bag." The smug male player sneered. "Two noobs who have never touched the arena and they're betting this much?" The woman beside him chuckled. "Don't give them time to realize. Start the match quick." Jonan and Lin Yun exchanged a knowing glance and smiled. Both were seasoned veterans. They weren't the least bit nervous about high stakes or being ambushed. The countdown hit 0, and all 4 players summoned their cards simultaneously. Lin Yun leaned in and whispered, "Don't go all out. Keep them dancing. We'll win more rounds, more gold." Their opponents unleashed a flood of summons right off the bat, quickly putting Jonan's team on the defensive. Lin Yun glanced at the battlefield. This pressure is building fast. We might not hold out, but Jonan remained calm. "Relax. Once Sorrow finishes building the towers, they're not getting through." Sure enough, just moments later, 4 defensive towers stood tall, with 4 Sorrows perched atop, ready to fire. A hail of shots rained down, devastating the enemy's summons, cutting through them like paper. Alarmed, the opposing duo quickly threw down more creature cards, desperate to regain momentum. In no time, Jonan's side was swarmed from all directions. Even his trusty Panda couldn't hold out. Its HP dropped to 0, and it returned to card form. But that was exactly what Jonan wanted. This was all part of his master plan. Bait out as many enemy summons as possible to feed his cannon follower Dingley with combat data for leveling up. He saw the perfect opportunity and summoned Dingley, along with its ammo, the Murloc cannonball. The Murloc barely had time to look around before Dingley snatched it up and jammed it headfirst into the cannon, without a moment's hesitation. Boom, the Murloc cannonball soared through the sky like a meteor and smashed straight into the enemy ranks. A system alert popped up. Cannon follower Dingley gained +10 proficiency. Moments later, Dingley leveled up to Tier 2, officially becoming a 2-star black card. More damage, faster reload. Watching from the sidelines, Lin Yun exclaimed, "Wait, your card gets stronger the more you shoot." She quickly swapped into a new gear set and muttered, "It's been 20 minutes already. Let's just wrap this up." Then she turned to Jonan, half joking, half serious. "I knew you weren't a rookie. I've shown you all my trump cards. Guess I'm counting on you from now on." Jonan just shrugged. "Why rush? Slow matches are more fun." Lin Yun narrowed her eyes. "Wait a minute. Your cannon gains experience over time, doesn't it?" Jonan didn't reply, but his smirk said it all. Lin Yun sighed. "Great, now I'm part of a long-form farming strategy." With no other option, Jonan bribed her. 300 gold for a dramatic exit. Instantly, Lin Yun flipped the switch. Oscar-worthy performance mode activated. She flailed around, screaming as enemy beasts chased her down the arena. In a final tragic scene, she fell and exited the match, earning her paycheck with full dramatic flair. The enemy team cheered. "Yes, we got one. This is in the bag now." Little did they know, they were nothing more than cannon fodder in Jonan's leveling scheme. They waited and waited, but Jonan never went down. After 20 full minutes, they realized something was very wrong. They marched forward to check the situation, only to go completely speechless. Jonan was perched atop his watchtower, standing safely behind 4 sorrows, and their entire beast army couldn't even reach him. The 2 players exploded with rage. "You're cheating. Who the hell camps on a tower in PvP?" Jonan put on an exaggerated, innocent face, clearly enjoying every second. Then with a sly grin, he fired back. "What? Your summons are all gone. Don't want to call more. That's it. So this is pro play, huh?" Fuming, both opponents shouted and summoned a fresh wave of monsters, sending them charging towards Jonan's position. But after another 20 minutes, every single one of their summons was wiped out again. Now they were stuck. If they quit, they'd lose their streak in the gold. Grumbling threats from the female player. "I was careless. If you've got guts, face me in the Temple of 4 Corners." Jonan's lips curled into a wicked grin. "Sure, let's raise the stakes." The Temple of 4 Corners was no ordinary arena. It included 4 powerful NPC factions. Each temple offered its own unique troops, technologies, and tactics. Players had to pick a faction. If their faction won, they'd win the match. In the Temple of 4 Corners battle map, players must defeat specific wild monsters to unlock tech trees and expand their faction's power. Each of the 4 temples features unique technologies that counter one another, adding another layer of strategic depth. Jonan entered the match room and noticed 2 spectators already watching. He wondered, did she invite people to analyze my tactics? Shrugging it off, he confidently selected the Serenity Temple, a defensive faction known for its healing auras and strong zoning mechanics. The female player, meanwhile, chose the Cursed Temple, a faction that directly counters Serenity Temple's slow-paced playstyle. Jonan raised an eyebrow. That wasn't random. She either knows her matchups, or if someone's coaching her. And sure enough, she had invited her in-game mentor to give her live guidance. This was clearly a guaranteed win plan. Meanwhile, Jonan stepped out of his faction's main gate, walked beneath the ancient tree of Serenity, and began summoning his starter units. Game rules required players to clear the monster camp near their spawn point to unlock the ability to build military structures. Jonan quickly commanded his units to attack the neutral monsters near the tree. Once cleared, he set his initial guardians to patrol mode, ensuring no backdoor tactics. Then he directed his black bear and axe throwers to begin constructing defensive towers just outside the barracks. Watching his every move, the female player turned to her mentor. He's building again. Same turtle strategy. Her mentor scoffed. Classic noob move. This map is all about controlling the field. If he turtles, he'll starve on resources. Other than the central dragon, which only pros can kill, the outer rings are full of resource-rich wilds. If he doesn't contest them, he's already lost. On this map, players refer to the 5 radial paths outside the dragon's lair as the 5 rings. The closest was Ring 1, and the furthest out was Ring 5. From Ring 3 onward, monsters required green-tier units or better to defeat. The female player noticed Jonan, suddenly moving toward Ring 2. It turned out he was targeting a monster that was perfect for leveling up cannon follower Deng Lei. A bolt of lightning cracked down from the sky as a thunder-spiked tortoise appeared, stomping heavily toward Jonan's hilltop position, just as it began ascending the slope. Boom, Deng Lei let off a clean shot, knocking the beast back before it could get close. Jonan gave the order, keep firing. The hillside echoed with repeated booms as continuous fire kept the beast at bay. Soon after, a system prompt appeared. Lookout tower unlocked. Jonan climbed up the newly built tower and surveyed the battlefield. All right, now it's a gamble. I need a monster respawn near here to unlock new tech and units. Meanwhile, on the other side, the female player, under her mentor's guidance, was fighting a group of electric slimes, which would boost her unit cap by +20 and had a chance to drop a gold chest. Jonan stayed in place, eyes scanning the terrain below. Come on, respawn already, then pay off. A pack of Capricorn rats emerged nearby. Defeating them would unlock his second-tier temple unit and had a chance of dropping card rewards. The system alert barely finished before Jonan called out, Deng Lei, fire at will. A torrent of cannon fire erupted from the hillside, raining down on the rats with explosive force. But the Capricorn rats proved unusually resilient. One cannon shot wasn't enough to take them down. Squeaking wildly, they scurried up the hill, dodging cannon blasts with surprising agility. One of them even tried to climb over the thunderspiked tortoise's corpse to reach the platform. Seeing this, Deng Lei lifted its cannon and unleashed a triple barrage, raining explosions onto the rats. The last one gave a final screech before collapsing to the ground. The area fell silent. A zone-wide announcement chimed. Player Joe Nan has defeated Capricorn rats and unlocked the second temple unit, Blade Dancer. But that wasn't all. One of the rats' bodies transformed into a green card, which floated gently into Jonan's hand. He glanced at it and grinned. Not bad, today's luck is holding. With a flick of the wrist, he summoned the green card. The Capricorn rat landed gracefully on all fours, sparks crackling from its whiskers. Meanwhile, the thunderspiked tortoise was still struggling at the bottom of the slope. High physical defense, but low magic resistance, perfect for the Capricorn rat's lightning-based attacks. With a hiss, the rat fired bolts of magic lightning, striking the tortoise again and again until it slumped over. And with all the action, cannon follower Deng Lei leveled up to 4 stars. System note, 400 more shots to reach 5-star evolution. Back in the spectator room, the female player hesitated. Can we still win? Her mentor just waved dismissively. Nah, this guy clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Not worth watching. She sighed, then, can you take me around the map a bit? I want to study the temples. He nodded, sure, let's go. But just as they were preparing to leave, a zone-wide alert echoed out again. Stray Cat from the Stars has appeared near Serenity Temple. Guaranteed card drop upon defeat. It also unlocked 1 random temple technology. He casually recalled all his cards. Since he was too far from the temple, the only way to return quickly was by self-inflicting a respawn. Without hesitation, Jonan walked directly beneath the thunderspiked tortoise. He stood still, allowing the creature to stomp him to death with a single blow. His body transformed into a beam of light and soared toward the temple. In the Temple of Four Corners mode, player death carries no penalty. You simply return to your spawn point. The first death has a 30-second cooldown, with respawn time doubling each time afterward. Once the countdown ended, Jonan summoned the newly unlocked temple unit and headed straight toward the Star Wanderer Cat's location. With the help of his new unit, it didn't take long before the Star Cat was knocked to the ground. At that moment, the temple glowed brightly. He had unlocked a new technology, Gale Aura, which increased all ranged units' attack speed by 25%. Meanwhile, Jonan was already thinking, what kind of black heart could be created by fusing the Star Cat and the Capricorn rat? He brought the 2 cards together, Moments later, a brand new black card slowly emerged before him. The result was a Magicat card. Its defense was still weak, but its attack power and skill damage had greatly improved. With the new card in hand, Jeannin gave a faint smirk. He was ready to teach that female player a lesson. Bringing the Magicat and his two unlocked units, he began walking toward the distant enemy temple. Meanwhile, the female player was still peacefully farming wild monsters, completely unaware that danger was quietly closing in. Before long, Jeannin arrived outside the cursed temple, leading a large group of summoned beasts. With a casual wave of his hand, his summons launched a barrage of attacks on the temple walls. At that moment, the female player received a system alert. Her temple was under attack. Furious, she cursed Jeannin in her heart, believing this was just a cheap sneak attack. But when she rushed back to the barracks, she found the undead tombstone had already been destroyed. Now her temple was weakened, and she needed to defeat 60 wild monsters to recover its power. Gritting her teeth, she refused to back down. She gathered her summons and headed straight for Jeannin's temple, determined to make him pay. On the other side, Jeannin was on his way back to his own temple when he suddenly encountered a massive earth savage bear. Thinking he might as well fight it, he ordered his summons to launch an attack. Unexpectedly, the bear slammed its paws on the ground, summoning a giant stone monument that blocked all incoming attacks. Then it charged forward, knocking the monument down and sending it crashing toward Jeannin's summons. But Jeannin's panda wasn't having any of it. It let out a mighty roar and heaved the falling stone slab to the side, narrowly saving the team. Just then the earth savage bear's body suddenly trembled, transforming into a spinning stone sphere, preparing to charge again. By the time Jeannin realized it, the stone sphere was already hurtling toward him at terrifying speed, forcing him to turn and run. Deng Lei and the Magicat instantly launched attacks, sparks and explosions flashing across the surface of the rolling sphere. Unfortunately, the attacks didn't seem to work. The sphere continued along its original path, unstoppable. It rolled straight over the Magicat, crushing it beneath. The Magicat was instantly knocked out, reverting to a card and returning to Jeannin's hand. Moments later, Jeannin was chased all the way to the edge of a lake. Without hesitation, he leaped forward with all his strength, and the massive sphere rolled straight into the water behind him. With a violent splash, the current finally pushed the sphere apart, revealing the earth savage bear inside. Before the bear could react, Jeannin had already ordered his summons to launch a full assault. Under the combined firepower of Deng Lei and the black bear axe throwers, the earth savage bear was finally defeated, unlocking a temple technology. Ranged boost, which increased the attack power of all ranged units by 25%. Jeannin also received the earth savage bear card as a reward. Looking at the card, he recalled his earlier field black bear card. Since both were tank-type units, he figured it was worth trying a fusion. At worst, he'd get a decent meat shield. The fusion produced a strengthened black bear card. Its stats were higher, but it had no skills, which Jeannin found unsatisfying. So he decided to try fusing it again, this time with a Magicat card. The resulting card gained a bit of attack power, but the damage output was still too low. Not quite what he wanted. In the end, Jeannin decided to try one more fusion, this time using the panda card. Finally, he succeeded in creating a summon card equivalent to blue-tier quality. It combined the earth savage bear's health, the panda's attack, and the Magicat's flame-based damage. He then ordered the black bear axe throwers to return to Serenity Temple to defend. Meanwhile, Jeannin himself headed back into the wilds, bringing along his panda and Deng Lei to farm more monsters. On the other side, the female player had just arrived outside Serenity Temple. She commanded her large group of summons, preparing for a full-on assault on the temple. But as soon as her troops approached, they were immediately suppressed by the temple's defenses. She was shocked. How had Jeannin's tech progressed so quickly? Furious, she stomped the ground and shouted, "Damn it!" Still, she wasn't about to give up. "Even if I lose, I have to go down swinging." She summoned all her remaining units and ordered a final charge toward the temple. At first, her skeleton soldiers managed to inflict some damage. But once Jeannin's other two temple units appeared, the tide quickly turned. The skeletons were scattered and crushed without resistance. Seeing this, the female player abandoned her plan to siege the temple, deciding to retreat and repair her barracks first. An hour later, she finally chose to surrender. She realized that every time she attacked, Jeannin's temple kept upgrading, his growth far surpassing hers. She hadn't even seen his character once, yet her camp was already multiple levels behind. What was the point of fighting anymore? While Janin was still farming wild monsters, a system prompt suddenly appeared. Victory, arena points +1, gold +200. As a beam of light enveloped his body, Janin was teleported out of the temple battlefield. Meanwhile, the female player was clearly still unwilling to accept defeat and wanted to start another round. But Janin had no interest in playing childish games and immediately removed her from his friends list. After arriving back at his secret base, he planned to challenge the second difficulty of the little fishing village. This time, he wanted to test out the Savage card he hadn't used before, as well as the newly fused Great Panda, assigning them to guard separate lanes. As for himself, he brought along the Butterfly card and headed out to farm wild monsters. A gray wolf spotted the butterfly approaching and lunged at it without hesitation. But unexpectedly, the butterfly's wings could release sword energy. In an instant, a storm of blades surrounded the gray wolf. The wolf tried to retaliate with agile leaps, closing the distance between them. But that was exactly what the butterfly had planned. While the wolf was airborne and unable to adjust mid-flight, a flurry of sword energy bombarded it from all sides. Moments later, a wolf's heart lay quietly on the ground. A system message popped up. Give this to the apothecary to receive something unexpected. Janin instantly remembered. Handing over the wolf's heart to the apothecary would unlock the Sunset Forest dungeon. Glancing at the butterfly beside him, he thought, if it can handle a gray wolf this easily, clearing this dungeon shouldn't be a problem. Sure enough, it didn't take long before the system announced. Dungeon cleared. Janin now had a clearer understanding of his current strength. After sorting through his loot, he decided to challenge the second difficulty of the little fishing village solo. Just then, Valkyrie Lin Yun suddenly contacted Janin, asking if he could help her clear the third difficulty of Little Fishing Village. Janin didn't hesitate and agreed right away. When he entered the team room, he saw that aside from Lin Yun, 2 other teammates were present. One of them, named Li Depu, was busy advertising in the chat. Turns out he was recruiting for 6 different families and even asked Janin if he wanted to join one. Janin politely declined. After that, he briefly introduced himself to the other teammate, a player named Run Fast. Everyone shared their build styles. Lin Yun played an equipment build, Run Fast used a mount build, and as for Li Depu, he claimed his style was Mudstone Flow, leaving Janin utterly confused. It wasn't until Run Fast explained that Janin realized Li Depu's main summon was a mud golem. Hearing that, Janin leaned over with a grin. I've got a recipe that buffs mud golems. Only 300 gold. Li Depu didn't even think twice. He left the room and returned with 300 gold in hand. After receiving the coins, Janin casually mentioned that earth golems dropped the rare heart of stone, to which Li Depu replied with teary eyes, "But I can't beat one." Janin then pulled out a heart of stone from his inventory and asked, "Want one 800 gold?" Li Depu agreed almost instantly. When the group finally entered the little fishing village dungeon, no one expected this. Li Depu actually succeeded in fusing a blue-grade earth golem card with a 5% chance. The only problem? It required level 9 to use. Lin Yun chuckled and teased. So freeloading already? Should we kick him now? Luckily, Run Fast stepped in to calm things down. All right, enough messing around. Let's focus and clear this. With that, he summoned his mount card. Lin Yun also equipped her full gear, ready for battle. Janin summoned his own lineup of summoned beasts. Seeing the impressive roster, Li Depu couldn't help but ask, "Ever thought about starting your own family?" Janin stroked his chin and considered the idea. Maybe it's time to form a black card clan. The other 3 teammates were immediately interested and said they'd love to join. The group moved into the forest, where Janin shared strategies for clearing the dungeon, while his black bear axe throwers diligently built defenses in the background. He also explained how to slowly wear down the earth golem boss, suggesting it as a great farming option for the others. 50 minutes later, the system announced a successful dungeon clear. The 3 teammates looked at each other and laughed. "We've been playing this wrong the whole time." That was eye-opening. After saying their goodbyes, the trio went off to farm little murlocs, hoping to get the hero guard card. Janin returned to his secret base and opened all his reward chests. He earned a few new cards. He decided to try fusing something useful. combining a 3-star cannon card with a 2-star meteor card, hoping to create something like a sea demon or fire demon. But after the fusion completed, he stared at the resulting card in deep thought. Then, with a flick of his hand, he summoned a massive meteor unit. The entrance animation looked great, but its attack power was too low and it was painfully slow. Glancing at a nearby flame skeleton card, Jonan thought, maybe I should try another fusion. He took out a giant Murloc card and a sea turtle card, combining the two. The resulting stats were average at best, but the name of the card, Big Turtle Boba, made Jonan laugh out loud. He liked the name so much he decided to keep it just for fun. Suddenly, an idea struck him. What would happen if I fused Big Turtle Boba with the flame skeleton? As the two cards fused, a fire turtle summon card appeared in Jonan's hand. The card came with a stun effect upon summoning, and its fiery shell inflicted continuous burn damage to nearby enemies. Jonan looked at the card inside. Feels like it's stuck in the middle, not weak but not great either. Just then, Valkyrie Lin Yun messaged him. Her team had gotten into a conflict with the Red Card clan. Jonan replied without hesitation, "Don't worry, I'm on my way." Meanwhile, Lin Yun's group was facing off with the Red Card clan. She suggested settling the dispute with a 2v2 arena match. The Red Card clan, founded by clan leader Ubaiting, was known as one of the strongest families on the server. Upon arrival, Jonan cut straight to the point. "Let's make it a 3v3 match." A sneer came from one of the Red Card members. Well, we finally found you." The voice sounded familiar. Jonan squinted. It was the same female player he'd fought back in the arena. She snapped, "You pretended to be a noob and conned me out of money. Time to pay up." But Jonan wasn't intimidated in the slightest. Instead, he grinned. "Then come to the Temple of Four Corners, 3v3, chicken out, and you're the loser." As expected, the woman exploded with rage, cursing him on the spot. Everyone made their way to the temple's pre-battle lobby. Jonan told Lin Yun to spectate, while he teamed up with Li Depu and run fast for the battle. The female player raised the stakes. "We're betting 8,000 gold on this match. You in or out?" Fired up by the taunt, both Li Depu and Run Fast shouted, "We're in, 1,000 gold each." "Let's go." Jonan checked his pockets and found that he only had 48 gold left. The trio's eyes all slowly turned to Valkyrie Lin Yun. Blushing, she pulled out 4 gold coins, muttering, "This is my entire fortune." And so the final bet was set. 8,000 gold from the Red Card side versus 2,052 gold from Jonan's team. Soon after, the system teleported everyone into the Temple of Four Corners. Li Depu whispered, "What's the plan? Their levels are clearly higher than ours." But Jonan didn't flinch. "I specialize in crushing elites." He instructed Li Depu, "Clear the mobs at the entrance, unlock the barracks, then head to the third ring. Follow system alerts to kill monsters and unlock techs." Then he told Run Fast, "Scout the map. Don't engage, just find where they are." As for himself, Jonan led his summoned beasts straight into battle, ready to deliver a harsh lesson. Meanwhile, the female player was focused on farming wild monsters. She didn't even notice the danger when a fire turtle suddenly dropped from above and slammed directly onto her head. She was instantly stunned on the spot. Jonan's other summons rushed in without hesitation. Within seconds, she was eliminated from the match. When the female player woke up, she was completely dazed. She had no idea what had just happened and assumed she'd been killed by a falling meteor. She quickly gulped down a potion, her eyes burning with rage. Jonan must have pulled some cheap trick. He's gonna pay for this. Just as she was summoning her beasts again, another figure respawned right beside her. Only then did they both realize they'd been eliminated and teleported back. At that moment, a system message rang out. Xianan has unlocked the electric slime. Just as he predicted, with his current strength, he could walk sideways through this battlefield if the levels were equal. He headed straight toward the Dragon Point respawn area, knowing full well that the opponent's strongest, Bloodsea Overlord, would likely show up soon if that's the only one worth paying attention to this round. Sure enough, after hearing that the electric slime had spawned, Bloodsea Overlord led his summons to intercept it. But halfway there, he was suddenly blasted in the back by a cannonball, whipping his head around. He saw Jonan not far behind him, standing beside Dingley, whose cannon was still faintly smoking. Bloodsea Overlord laughed coldly. "You got guts, boy, coming to me on your own." Jonan smirked. "I'm unbeatable. Fight me however you want." Enraged, Bloodsea Overlord summoned his temple units and charged straight at Jonin. But Jonin remained calm. He pulled a black card from his inventory. Just when Bloodsea Overlord thought he was bracing for a head-on clash, Jonin turned and bolted toward the red dragon respawn zone. Bloodsea Overlord paused, confused. Was Jonin trying to commit suicide? At his level, running into the red dragon zone was practically asking to die. But when he arrived at the dragon spawn point, Jonin was nowhere in sight. All he saw was a red dragon snoring peacefully on the ground. Suddenly, the red dragon opened its eyes and saw someone standing in front of it. Without hesitation, it charged up a breath attack and blasted straight at Bloodsea Overlord. Caught off guard, he quickly summoned all his beasts to block the attack, but they were wiped out one after another by the dragon's fiery breath. He still couldn't figure it out. Why wasn't the red dragon attacking Jonin too? Watching from a distance, Jonin let out a snort. Levels high, still clueless about map mechanics. On this map, the red dragon's aggro priority was simple. Summon beasts, their summoners, players without summons. At that moment, Jonin opened a private message and asked Valkyrie Linyan to lend him the legendary weapon, the Fauntalin halberd. Linyan immediately realized his plan. He was about to flip the script. Everyone assumed Jonin only played summoner builds. No one would expect him to switch to melee combat. Meanwhile, Bloodsea Overlord was still wandering around, looking for Jonin. He had no idea that Jonin had already appeared behind him, holding a gleaming Fan Tian halberd in hand. Before he could react, Jonin struck first, launching a surprise attack. Moments later, two players waiting in the spawn springs saw Bloodsea Overlord respawning. They rushed over asking, "Master, what happened?" "How did you die?" they asked. He explained the ambush, clearly frustrated. He never expected the red dragon to have aggro priority mechanics. When he asked why they hadn't gone out to farm, they replied awkwardly, "We ran out of mana." Furious, Bloodsea Overlord cursed them as useless, then realized he barely had enough mana left to summon two creatures himself. Yes, he fumed in silence. He mentally cursed both Jonin and that damned red dragon. This time, however, Bloodsea Overlord had learned his lesson. Instead of rushing straight at Jonin, he sneaked around with his summons and went straight for Run Fast, hoping to take him out first. But just as he was about to strike, Jonin pulled off a perfect flanking maneuver. He showed up with a full squad of summoned beasts, charging in to reinforce his teammate. Before Bloodsea Overlord could even react, Jonin's fist smashed straight into his face. He was instantly sent back to the respawn spring. Watching this unfold, the two female players on his team knew it was over. Even though Bloodsea Overlord was one of Red Card Clan's rising stars, he had no mana left to summon anything. They had no choice but to quit the game in frustration. On Jonin's side, the team celebrated the win with a round of high fives. Moments later, Jonin received a private message. The female player challenged him. "Wanna bet who clears Little Fishing Village's level? 5 difficulty first." That dungeon had a strict level cap. Only players under level 10 could enter. So far, no team had successfully cleared it. Top clans like Redcard, Justice, and Battlefist had all sent their rookies, swearing they'd claim the first clear. But Jonin was full of confidence. "First clear? That's ours." He immediately created a team room and invited all his teammates in, ready to show the big families what grassroots power really looks like. The group teleported into Little Fishing Village. One after another, they summoned their rock generals. Jonin smiled in approval. "Nice. Looks like you all follow my guide and got the big guns." "Respect." Jonin pulled out a black card. He was taking over the building, brick-carrying task. Seeing how many black bear axe throwers he had, Li Depu's jaw dropped in shock. At the same time, Jonin and Bloodsea Overlord were now locked in a silent standoff. Both were determined to claim the first clear for level 5 difficulty. Jonin quickly assigned roles. Butterfly and Savage go farm wild monsters. If anything drops, Corgi picks it up. Rock General and Panda, you're with me on defense. Valkyrie Linyan suggested. Let Run Fast handle gathering tasks. He's quick on his feet. Jonin nodded in agreement. The wave of little murlocs began attacking from both flanks. Linyan used her gear to mow down mobs in massive swaths. Jonin, meanwhile, relied on his summoned beasts to hold the line. When the Rock General took the field, murlocs were knocked flying one after another, unable to withstand the power. Not long after, Li Depu was the first to complete the defense structures. Just as he was basking in his success, His face changed as he pointed to the distance and shouted, "Incoming! Look over there!" The trio turned in unison. They saw it. The shark boss was approaching, slowly but menacingly. Jonan told the others to stick to the plan, while he rushed straight toward the shark. Meanwhile, the rock general had just cleared the nearby murlocs. It immediately launched its stun toss skill at the shark, a forced 3-second stun that even gods couldn't resist. The moment the shark boss got stunned, Jonan roared, "Focus fire." From the defensive towers, black bears and axe throwers unleashed a full barrage on the shark. Blades, axes, and projectiles rained down, engulfing the boss in chaos. Just as the shark tried to recover and counterattack, Valkyrie Lin Yun activated another stun toss from the rock general. Another full wave of attacks followed instantly. After the entire combo, the shark's health had dropped to just 25%. Without hesitation, Jonan summoned his fire turtle and charged in. The fire turtle slammed down hard, crushing the shark, forcing it to cough up blood and fall with 0 HP left. A system-wide announcement rang out. "Congratulations! The team has cleared Little Fishing Village, level 5 difficulty. First clear achieved." As the first clear team, they were given the right to set a nickname and message on the dungeon leaderboard. Jonan and his squad saw the prompt and grinned mischievously. Outside the dungeon lobby, crowds of players had gathered, speculating on which team would clear first. Most bets were on the Red Card clan, but just then Jonan's team popped up on the leaderboard as the first clear. The crowd gasped and instantly clicked on the team's message. It simply read, "That's it." Players were furious. Not only do they not share the strategy, they mock us too. Hope he gets a card so weird he can't even use it. Turns out the curse actually came true. Jonan looked down at a new green card in his hand. It was a transformation card. When used, it would grant him a wolfskin coat cosmetic with absolutely 0 stat bonuses. Jonan blinked at the card, utterly confused. This is a thing. While the card didn't offer any stat bonuses, it allowed Jonan to transform into a gray jackal. In jackal form, he could devour small-sized targets, dealing 300 HP damage per second. If the target was a player, they'd be forcefully demoted by 1 level. Jonan thought for a moment, then summoned the wolfskin coat anyway. As soon as he put it on, he grinned. "You know what? This thing's kind of cool." A second later, his body shifted. He transformed into a gray jackal, causing his nearby pet, Duachi, to tremble in fear and almost pass out. After turning back into human form, Jonan stared at the outfit in amazement, curious how the Devour skill handles aggro. "Guess I'll find out soon." At that moment, a system alert popped up. "You've cleared Little Fishing Village LV5. New dungeon unlocked, Sunset Forest." Dungeon description: Sunset Forest. Danger and opportunity go hand in hand. Ferocious monsters guard ancient treasures. Among 100 explorers, only one shall witness the dawn. Jonan read it once and immediately knew Battle Royale mode. And with this wolfskin outfit, it was perfect for it. He didn't hesitate. He clicked into Sunset Forest and began matchmaking. In seconds, 69 players matched. Jonan stared at the number climbing. 88, 94. His eyes gleamed with anticipation. Soon, a region-wide notification appeared. Player count reached. Dungeon Sunset Forest begins in 10 seconds. As the Sunset Forest dungeon opened, Jonan put on the wolfskin coat, transforming into a gray wolf. In this form, most wild monsters wouldn't attack him, and other players couldn't see through his disguise. Not long after, he discovered a treasure chest beneath a tree. Looking at the luxurious chest in front of him, Jonan was puzzled. Why would a treasure chest inside the dungeon look like this? And why were the items just exposed outside? At this moment, 2 other players also noticed the chest. But before they could react, the chest suddenly opened its blood-red maw, swallowing them whole. By now, Jonan had seen the chest devour 3 players in total. Witnessing this, Jonan immediately understood. The chest was actually another player. Since he had a wolfskin coat, others must also have cards like the treasure chest or coats to disguise themselves. Quietly, he crept up behind the chest. With a swift leap, he pounced on top of it. He swallowed it whole in 1 bite. But soon, he realized something wasn't right. A group of summoned creatures appeared around him, and it was then that Jonan realized. After transforming, the chest player could not only disguise themselves, but also summon cards to fight. Right now, Jonan couldn't use any cards, only dodging the attacks from the summoned creatures. Just when he thought he was about to be defeated here, suddenly an idea flashed in his mind. Jonan quietly made his way to the monster gathering area, blending in with them. Sure enough, the monsters had no intention of attacking him. Instead, they dealt with all the summoned creatures behind him. Soon after, Jonan received a message that the players had already been digested. At that moment, the area announcement sounded. The power of the apocalypse has descended. In 20 minutes, whoever sits on the throne will control all of Sunset Forest. Upon hearing this, Jonan leisurely laid down next to the throne and started taking a nap. Meanwhile, the other players were still fighting fiercely outside. Before long, the battlefield was littered with casualties. Jonan couldn't help but let out a snicker of schadenfreude upon seeing this. As more players approached the throne, the surrounding monsters started attacking them. Some players suggested clearing the monsters around the throne first, so no one would be able to sit on it. At this point, Jonan acted like the old sixth, hiding in the bushes, watching the players struggle with amusement. With 20 seconds remaining on the countdown, only 3 players were left, and Jonan had only eliminated 1 player from start to finish. At that moment, a player transformed into a little rabbit, jumped out, and headed straight for the throne. Just when the rabbit thought he had won, a massive blood-red maw appeared behind him, and a red wolf devoured the rabbit hole. Clearly, the red wolf was also a player, and he had been eyeing the rabbit for quite some time. At this point, Jonan decided to drop his disguise, quietly moving behind the red wolf. Before the wolf could react, Jonan swiftly swallowed him whole. In front of the throne, only Jonan, in the form of a large gray wolf, remained. As the system countdown hit 0, the system announcement went off as expected. Jonan became the final survivor, claiming the treasures of the Sunset Forest. The treasure had already been distributed to the task hall. Upon returning to his secret base, Jonan eagerly opened the Sunset Forest treasure, eager to see what powerful rewards he could obtain. As the treasure chest slowly opened, Jonan received not only gold, points, and diamonds, but also a heap of other materials, including 2 summoning cards and a mysterious egg. Looking at the treasures, Jonan decided to combine the fire turtle and panda to see if he could obtain a powerful card. Soon, a flame panda appeared in his hand. Not only did it have extraordinary vitality and attack power, but it also regenerated health every second. Using a wild gem, he could even upgrade the card's star level. Fortunately, Jonan had obtained enhancement items in the Sunset Forest, so he didn't hesitate and immediately used them to upgrade the Flame Panda. To level up the Flame Panda, Jonan planned to visit the Sunset Forest dungeon frequently and explore the area. After returning to the Sunset Forest, Jonan took out the egg he had previously obtained. According to the card's description, the egg needed to be hatched at a specific location, and the hatching time would take 3 minutes. Once hatched, it would become a mysterious creature with a species depending on the hatcher. If the hidden conditions were met, the card would transform into a blue, 1-star green dragon card. He looked at the card in his hand, thinking to himself, the mysterious creature depends on the hatcher. Jonan considered trying each of his summoned creatures for the hatching, but then he dismissed the thought, realizing it might hatch some strange and bizarre creatures. He then wondered if players could actually hatch the egg. To his disappointment, he quickly realized that players could not hatch this egg. Jonan didn't think much of it, and decided to combine a few more cards before heading to Sunset Forest to find a green dragon and hatch the egg. This time, he had combined a transformation card that would allow him to turn into a female snake spirit. Jonan immediately thought of the use for the card, wondering if he could use this seduction tactic to his advantage. He first transformed into his large gray wolf form, then brought the mysterious egg to the green dragon, preparing for the hatching process. While waiting for the 3-minute hatching time, he wanted to test the effect of the snake spirit card. As he wondered whether the surrounding wild monsters would attack him after his transformation, a sense of worry crept over him. A barrage of flames came rushing toward Jonan. Jonan, seeing this, decided to retreat for the moment. At that moment, a nearby player used an invincible red card, shielding him from the attack. Jonan was about to thank him politely, but unexpectedly, he accidentally triggered the red card family's secret signal. This made the player mistakenly think that Jonan was also a new member of the red card family. The player even kindly offered that if Jonan ever ran into trouble, he could come to him for help. Jonan was stunned, his mind failing to process the situation. At this point, the members of the red card family had already pulled him into their gathering. introducing him to the others. Seeing that Jonan was a female player, everyone eagerly approached to greet her. Jonan inwardly criticized their shallowness, but couldn't help enjoying the perks that came with being a female player. During the conversation, Jonan learned some crucial information. During this Sunset Forest operation, the Red Card family members were there to escort Han Buxton through the dungeon. Jonan immediately put on a weak appearance, easily winning the favor of the Red Card family members. He even arranged to meet them at the warehouse, promising not to miss the appointment. Jonan watched the scene and couldn't help but mentally call them a bunch of fools. Meanwhile, the Red Card family members had already started attacking the nearby monsters. Soon, the number of players rapidly dwindled, leaving only Jonan and Han Buxton. Han Buxton, now in the form of the Red Wolf, was the same one Jonan had previously swallowed. He seemed to still have some psychological scars, constantly wary of the large gray wolf. At that moment, a cannonball slammed into the ground beneath him, sending him straight back home. It turned out that Jonan had summoned a cannonman and attacked Han Buxton. Now the Sunset Forest dungeon was left with only Jonan. He slowly made his way to the forest throne and sat down. Nearby, a freshly hatched little green dragon flew around. Jonan thought to himself, since the Red Card family invited me, I should go and see what makes this family so special. The Red Card family base was inaccessible to anyone except its members. However, Jonan had previously combined a butterfly card, which was meant for sending messages. As long as he entered the designated sending location with the butterfly, he could successfully enter the Red Card family's base. Before long, Jonan, together with the butterfly, arrived at the Red Card family's base. By then, Jonan had used the Snake Spirit card again, transforming into a female form. Upon seeing a female player, the members of the Red Card family rushed over to greet her and invited her to join them for a meal. Just then, a purple-haired beauty appeared, showing strong interest in Jonan. Jonan turned his head, and there, standing behind him, was a purple-haired beauty with red eyes, her graceful figure catching his attention. The purple-haired beauty stepped forward, lifted Jonan's chin, and started flirting, asking if he had time to go on a date with her. Jonan's moment made the purple-haired beauty feel a strange sense of attraction, thinking that Jonan was quite an interesting person. Soon after, Jonan donned his wolfskin coat again and made his way to the outskirts of the forest. There, an NPC named Little Red Riding Hood would issue quests to passing players. The purpose of Jonan's visit was to see if the wolf depicted on the wolfskin coat could actually devour NPCs. He decided to test it on Little Red Riding Hood. At that moment, Little Red Riding Hood was completely unaware of any danger, continuing to issue quests to Jonan according to the storyline, seeing that no other players were around. Jonan immediately transformed into a large gray wolf and extended his claws toward Little Red Riding Hood. However, just then, Little Red Riding Hood unexpectedly transformed into a massive black wolf. The black wolf immediately charged toward Jonan. Jonan realized that the red cloak worn by Little Red Riding Hood was also a transformation item. Seizing the opportunity while the black wolf was attacking, Jonan quickly bit into its body. He swallowed the black wolf whole. As time passed, the black wolf was slowly digested inside him. Jonan then received a system notification, informing him that he had killed the legendary evil wolf and completed a hidden quest with 25% progress. He received a 5-star green card, the legendary werewolf card, as well as the right to access the Evil Wolf Legend book. By turning in this book to the Alchemist Association in White Cloud City, he would receive a generous reward. Jonan never expected that swallowing the black wolf would not only trigger a hidden quest, but also reward him with such powerful cards. Jonan casually picked up the green card and examined it. The card had 3 notes. Besides summoning the black wolf to work for him, this card could only be used inside the base. The final note was that if a suppression cloak was used, the card would undergo a certain transformation. After reading the description, Jonan took out the cloak he had previously obtained from Little Red Riding Hood and draped it over the large gray wolf. The gray wolf's body began to change, slowly transforming into Little Red Riding Hood's form. At this moment, Jonan remembered the hidden quest, realizing he had only completed 25%. He wondered if he had been doing the task incorrectly, causing the quest to be interrupted. He decided to look through the Evil Wolf Legend book to see if it contained any clues. It turned out that the black wolf was a vegetarian, its favorite food being mushrooms, which led to its exclusion from the wolf pack. Fortunately, it encountered the kind-hearted Little Red Riding Hood. However, the ignorant villagers didn't know any of this, and they sought to kill the Black Wolf. Little Red Riding Hood rushed to stop them but was knocked down by the villagers. As a result, the Black Wolf lost its only friend and went mad, killing all the villagers. It then put on Little Red Riding Hood's cloak and transformed into her. After finishing the book, Jonan didn't find any new clues. Just then, a message appeared before him. It was a private message from Ladapu, saying he had reached level 10 and was choosing his skills. He asked Jonan whether he should pick card synthesis or a regular skill. Jonan advised him to choose card synthesis and said he would come over to help him decide. When Jonan arrived in front of Ladapu, he was lounging on the beach, enjoying the sun, and had already chosen the card synthesis skill. Not only that, Ladapu had already experimented with card synthesis and discovered that combining cards that start with eat with animals would create dish cards. Jonan immediately recognized this as a major business opportunity. The cards Ladapu synthesized could be traded. He then shared an idea with him. What if we combine cards that start with item? Will it produce various items? Ladapu thought Jonan's idea was brilliant and decided to try it out right away.